Welcome back to another video. If you're new to the channel, I'm Rio. As you can see from the title, I am getting veneers. I don't plan on replacing like my top 10 or my bottom 10. I'm not doing an entire set. I am replacing the 4 front teeth, these 4 right here, with veneers. I am in Turkey getting this procedure done, but this isn't the procedure that I originally traveled here for. If you seen some of my other videos, I originally traveled to Turkey to get a hair transplant, but I figured since the clinic does dental work as well, and from the looks of it, their dental work is pretty good, so I decided to get these done as well. My 4 front teeth, there's something that I have wanted to get veneers on for probably like the last 6 years. And I'm gonna go into more detail about that here in a moment. If you are somebody who's watching this video and feel like people shouldn't alter their natural teeth, their normal teeth, or getting veneers is ruining your natural teeth, however you look at it, if you're one of those people who think that way, I am in a bit of a different situation than maybe the average person would be in who are gonna get veneers. I'm gonna set this camera down somewhere. I'm tired of holding it. I've never mentioned this on my channel, but my 4 front teeth, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know they have an actual name. I don't know what the name of those teeth are, but they're not mine. They're not real. And when I say they're not real, they're bonded. My natural teeth are underneath that bonding. Now, the reason why I had to get those teeth bonded, and I've never shared this on my channel at all before. Growing up, I had small teeth. I had a pretty severe, well, maybe it wasn't severe, but I had a tooth gap. This tooth, which I think people call like the canines or something, I don't know, maybe that's what it's called, I don't know. That tooth kind of set very high because when this permanent tooth grew in, it grew in over the baby tooth, and the baby tooth, it took forever to fall out. I had to get it pulled. So I had this tooth over the baby tooth, and they both were there for a while until I got that one pulled. The thought was when the baby tooth got pulled, this one would kind of fall into place, and it never really happened. So the braces kind of, of course, pulled everything together. While I was wearing braces, what I found out was that my teeth were too small to close the gap that I had. If the orthodontist would have tried to close that gap, I would have ended up with an underbite like that. They had to enlarge the teeth. Now here's the kicker about that. When the orthodontist told me this, they told me that they would recommend that I go get veneers or lumineers, which I don't even know if lumineers are still a thing. I think veneers are a more popular one these days. This was like 2014, somewhere around there. They told me that it would be best for me to go and get it professionally done. I didn't know exactly what the cost would be. I just knew I couldn't afford it. Like, it was just, that is what it was. When I told them I couldn't afford to do it at the time, they decided to do it in-house, which was not really a professional or permanent thing. They told me that once my braces came off, I would have to go and get the veneers professionally done in a way that they would last much longer, because these were just temporary. These 4 right here are not my real teeth, and they were just temporary. I know this is backlit and I'm super dark. Let me try to find a better angle here. So that's a much better angle, but I don't have something to prop it. Put you on the bed. Now this is an upward angle. It's kind of wobbly because it's the bed I'm on, but at least my face is better lit. So let me show you my teeth again. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the one that sits kind of high because it used to be up. So the gum line is much higher, but it is what it is. I don't care about that. I'm only replacing the 4 that aren't mine, because when they did them, they weren't really done professionally, and I never liked the shape of how they were done. One, I had to get them redone anyway, and I do want to improve the shape, and I do want to have just a more aesthetic looking smile. Although my smile is good, it's just something I had to do regardless. So I figured, since I was already coming here, just to do it. Now I'm going to be showing you guys some pictures, and this is somewhat embarrassing, but it's real, it's the truth, it is what it is. I'm going to show you some pictures of what my teeth were like before I got braces, and what they were like when I got my braces off after having the 4 front teeth enlarged by the orthodontist. You know what's funny about it? I got braces as an adult, but I had an opportunity to get braces in high school and I turned it down because in high school, you were a little more self-conscious about that kind of stuff. You don't want to get teased, you don't want to get roasted, and high school kids are a little malicious in that way. Braces, no, I don't want braces. I don't want to get made fun of, so I didn't do it. When I became an adult, I just went ahead and did it. Anyway, that is the intro to this video. I'm going to try to film as much as I can about this journey with the veneers. Again, it's only 4 and I'm doing them here in Turkey. I also do want to get them whitened because they're pretty yellow. My goals are, of course, to do the 4 that I mentioned, but I want to have my teeth whitened, the rest of my natural teeth. From here, back are natural and then the whole bottom are natural. I want to have those whitened and then match the veneers to the whitening. So that's the goal. That's a heads up and an intro to this video. Then I'll fill you in on what happens tomorrow.
First, we will take your before picture. Okay.
Okay.
And then when we finish your teeth, we will take the after picture. First turn. Dudakları göremiyorum.
Ekartör, takısını da ekartörle çek.
Tamam.
Sorry, will you whiten?
Sorry?
Whitening, will you do whitening?
Yeah, we are doing whitening.
Okay.
Okay. Just close. Bir böyle şekilde çok hafif açtıracağım. Şey olsun, siyah yapalım.
What about, do you do cleaning and whitening?
I mean, for a year, we're gonna do the cleaning, but not the whitening.
Why not?
Because we arranged it only for veneers. Whitening is not in the process.
I paid for whitening.
I will check. If it's like that, I will do whitening too.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Now we are gonna whitening and veneering, everything is gonna be later. Now we're gonna take the empress only. Okay?
Okay.
Now I'm gonna do anesthesia, okay?
Okay. And what's that now?
I'm sorry?
What's that? What's that?
This one? It's the anesthesia, it's named Maxikai.
Okay. I'm just curious. I like to ask questions.
It's normal.
I like to know stuff.
You're also interested in medicine or what's your job?
No, I'm not interested in medicine, but I like asking questions though.
Okay, I got it.
I was asking a lot of questions because all of the conversing around me was in Turkish. And of course, I didn't understand any of it. So for my comfort and understanding of the process and procedure, I was just asking so I would know because everything they were saying was in Turkish and I wanted to feel comfortable.
I will do it slowly, okay? You okay? Perfect.
Yeah, I didn't really feel much. My hips is bothered. I didn't feel the needles really, so that's good. So what's the next step? What are we doing now?
I will explain right now.
Okay. I like to ask questions.
Back. In this part, I'm just take your copy your teeth, okay? For what? When I shave your teeth, I don't want to send you outside without any protection part. So I'm gonna do a temporary teeth for you, okay? With a plastic.
Okay.
This is a copy, okay? I will use it.
Perfect, thank you. This tooth here is kind of turned to the side. I want it to be straight. You know.
Yeah. Come back. Doktor nasılsınız?
İyiyim hocam siz?
İyidir ben de. Bunları şöyle göstereyim mi?
So what are you starting with?
Yeah, I'm gonna shave your teeth right now, okay?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, open my ear. Tartışma gelelim lütfen.
So here he's shaving off the bonding, and this is the part I was mostly nervous about because I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know how much he would shave or how far into my natural teeth that he would shave. But it all turned out well.
Ay, güzel oldu. Evet, tamamız bir.
And here is my natural teeth. I was anxious and hoping that he wouldn't shave them down to nubs, and he didn't. So I was very happy about that. But this was the size of my natural teeth.
Yeah, az kaldı da. So I can see your surface easily, more
Okay.
detail.
Like I said, I ask questions. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. I think you are a good student.
Thank you.
Most of dentists will never ask that.
Evet Erkan Bey girelim bugünün sorunlarına.
Evet, değil mi?
Soru 1. Cerrah amca geldi mi?
Cerrah amca. What about this one?
Yeah, I think
It's a little whiter than your teeth, but I guess when we do whitening, it's gonna be like that.
yeah, I
Okay.
agree. I agree.
It's a temporary.
Looks like before. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It's a plastic one, okay? I don't send you out without it.
Thank you.
That's it. You're free right now, okay?
Okay. Yeah, looks like before.
Yes. You can wash your mouth.
You feeling water now?
It won't stay in because I'm so I can't feel it. Now that I got my temporaries in, it was time for me to go get my hair transplant. Also, check out that video if you haven't already. They ended up putting some kind of rope stuff right in my gum lines, and he said that was to create space. So I'm guessing that they want to make sure there's space between my tooth and my gums. So when they do the veneers, they can have it flush underneath the gum. That's my guess. He didn't necessarily tell me, but that's what that is, in case you were wondering. So far, I'm happy with the dental process thus far. At this point, it's more of a matter of making sure I get the final veneer and they're to my liking while I'm here in Istanbul, and hopefully I have enough time to also make adjustments if I need to. It's really late now. It is nighttime. It is actually after midnight here in Istanbul. As you can see, today I shared a lot about the dental process and what that was like. Soon after that, I went in and got the hair transplant, as you can see. As you saw with the dentist, like I told you guys, I had the bonding on the 4 front teeth, and the dentist was a very, very cool guy. His English was actually pretty good, but he shaved off the old bonding and also shaved my teeth, my natural teeth, just a little bit. I was really, really hoping that they wouldn't shave it down to nubs, which they didn't, so thankfully that didn't happen. Right now, I have in temporaries. And the temporaries that they did was a mold of the teeth I had before they were shaved, which was the previous bonding. So it didn't change my look at all, which was great.
The next day.
This next day is when I got my teeth cleaned and whitened. I wasn't able to actually film this because it was just me and the girl that was doing it. But she did a quick spot cleaning on my natural teeth and then whitened them as well. The whitening took probably about 45 minutes to an hour total. The rest of the day, and I believe some of the following day, my teeth were a little sensitive, but that eventually went away. Here we are again on the following day. And this day I was in just to look at a wax model of this shape that they came up with, which wasn't going to work for me. It was more teardrop shape and kind of slightly oval. And I wanted them to be more square-ish, if that makes sense. When I explained that to the dentist, he got it, he understood. So we were good to go. Then they told me that the veneers would be ready the following day. If you saw my hair transplant experience video, you know that I ended up having an issue with the clinic. You can check out that video for more detail if you want. But to make a long story short, I ended up getting an infection on my head. And I was not a fan of how the clinic chose to communicate or handle that situation. I felt that there was a lot of lying and manipulation going on. And my comfort of filming wasn't really there. So I didn't really film any of the fitment testing or the veneer placement, but I do have some pictures. Overall, I wasn't too happy with two things mainly. This picture is the final veneer before they were fully placed and set. Essentially, they were just resting on my teeth and I was making sure that the size, the shape, and overall look is what I wanted. And they were. I wasn't able to really move and look at it from different angles because the veneers just kept falling off due to the fact that they weren't fully set to the tooth. But by looking at this, you can see that the veneer is slightly more yellow than my natural teeth after I got them whitened. And I was not happy about that. The dentist explained to me that yes, they were a little more yellow. However, once he set them, the setting agent or the glue or the bonding agent, whatever it's called, he would use a super white color, which would allow for the veneer to appear much whiter and match my natural tooth. I was very concerned about this. I kept asking if he was sure. He said, yes, trust him. So we did it. And they did not get any whiter. Earlier, you saw us selecting a color. I feel like they forgot to match that color I selected. I believe the veneers they made were the color that my teeth were before I got them whitened. Once they were set, I realized that they didn't appear any whiter. So I told the dentist that they did not look any whiter to me. He then proceeded to tell me to give it 21 days and that they would start to appear whiter over time. He said something about in dentistry, they have a 21-day rule or something like that. To me, it sounded more like the rest of the teeth, the natural ones, would start to yellow a bit, which would then bring the color closer to my veneers. As I mentioned before, my goal was to match the veneer to the whitened color. I knew that the rest of the teeth wouldn't stay as white, but I was okay with the forefront being slightly wider because those are the most prominent and mostly seen. And with them being porcelain veneers, they're supposed to last 15 plus years, if not much longer, maybe even a lifetime. So with that being said, I was okay with them being a bit wider. That's what I wanted. Whenever I do whiten my teeth in the future, everything will match. By making this mistake, anytime I whiten my teeth in the future, they're always going to be a difference in color because the veneers can never be whitened, but my natural teeth can, which is why I wanted them to be whiter. So yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about that. All I could really do is just trust what they were telling me. And as I sat there looking at my teeth for an extended amount of time, I noticed another problem. But before I talk about that, let me talk about the things that I did like, because I know some of y'all can get. I hear somebody talk about things that bother them, and in your mind, all you hear is complaining and bitching, instead of listening objectively or listening for a sense of justification. So allow for me to appease you by talking about the positive things. The quality of these porcelain veneers, it's amazing. They pretty much look exactly like natural teeth. The design, the detail, it's all astonishing. I think they also nailed the overall size and shape as well. I feel like they suit me well, and they also give a nice fullness to my smile. So there's some positivity for those that feel like there's too much complaining going on. And keep in mind that someone's feelings about something will not always be sunshine and rainbows. That's just not the way the world works. That's not the way humans work. By you saying that there's too much complaining, it takes away personal expression. It dehumanizes me. What is a person without feeling or expression? A robot. If you feel like there's too much complaining happening, you can leave. You don't have to watch the video. You don't know me, nor do you care about me. That's why you see it as complaining. If I was somebody that you cared about, you wouldn't see it that way. Now that that's said, the other thing that I noticed that I wasn't too happy about was that one of the 2 front teeth ended up being slanted, just slightly. So I figured I would pop in here just so I wasn't talking behind a bunch of pictures the whole time. As you guys seen throughout the video, I got the veneers done when I was in Turkey getting my hair transplant, which I did back in June. Of course, now we're in December, so it has been approximately 6 months since I got them done. Throughout this video, you've seen quite a bit of footage of me getting the veneers, but there wasn't really a lot of footage outside of the first day of me getting my teeth shaved and stuff like that. And throughout the video, I mentioned that I ended up with an infection on my head, which led to a whole bunch of other stuff. And ultimately, I just wasn't really comfortable to keep on filming and showing everything that I was doing. So I wanted to expound a little bit on what happened in some of those days when I was getting the veneers, because I don't think the video did really that good of a job explaining that. So if you're watching this video because you were mostly interested in veneers, the hair transplant videos will kind of explain a lot more in detail for you, but I'll do my best in this video to kind of skim over it really briefly so it doesn't take too long to explain. I got to Turkey on a Thursday, which was June 17th. The way the clinic operates, they do your consultation the same day you arrive. So that's what I did. We went over my hair transplant stuff, went over my dental stuff. I paid for everything at that particular time because that's how they operate. The following day, which was the Friday, that's when I went in and actually got the teeth shaved, of course. So you saw a good much of that footage. And I also got my hair transplant done that day as well. The following day was Saturday. That's the day I actually got my teeth whitened. However, things was kind of really all over the place with the infection, and it was a big mess, really. The following day was the Sunday. That's when I saw the wax model or whatever they called it. Essentially, I went in and the dentist, I don't think I got his name, but he was a cool guy. It was easy to really work with as far as doing the procedure. And I was never in any pain at all throughout the entire procedure. So that was great. But I go in and he says, you know, I just want you to look at the shape. Don't look at the quality. These aren't your final veneers. Only look at the shape. So I'm like, all right, cool. Looking at the shape. So when he shows me, of course, the quality wasn't what it was supposed to be because it was just, I think, wax or plastic or something like that. But the shape, as I mentioned throughout the video, it was kind of like a teardrop oval shape. They looked very feminine, and I wasn't a fan of that. So when I explained it to him, he got it. He was like, okay, perfect, little too feminine. I know exactly what you mean. And he was like, I actually agree. So he translated that back to the lab, and the following day, Monday, was my final day there. So that Sunday, the biggest concern I had, because I expected to have the veneers done that day, or at least put in that day. My biggest concern was, what if I don't like them? Will there be enough time to fix them if I'm not a fan of how they look? Monday was my last full day. You're gonna present them to me on Monday. There won't be any time for me to make adjustments because I'm leaving in the middle of the night. So there's not much time. The dentist then explained to me that whatever they come back with, if I'm not a fan of it, he himself would take me to the lab where they would get made at. They would do it right in front of me to make sure I was 100% happy. That reassured me, at least, for the most part. I was like, okay, cool. I felt a little bit calmer because I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. When I was in my WhatsApp consultation before I went, I was told that the 4.5 days that I would be there would be enough time to get 4 veneers done. When I arrived, I was told that it should be enough time. So now it's looking like it may not be enough time, which was kind of frustrating. The next day is when I went in, of course, to get the veneers that Monday. And if you saw my hair transplant experience video, that was the whole crazy cab driver situation. I had to go back to the clinic to get the veneers done. They were supposed to provide transportation, which didn't really work out. They showed me the veneers and the veneers looked great, but of course I realized they were a little bit yellow. I kind of mentioned in the video what he pretty much told me. He showed me the bonding agent that he wanted to use. I could see that it said extreme white or super white or something like that. So he said, I'm gonna use this. Once I put it on your teeth, it'll make them appear whiter. But I had my reservations about that because I was like, okay, what if it doesn't? He was like, it will look whiter, just trust me. Of course, he did it and it didn't happen. He's a professional, I'm not. The only thing I really can do is just trust what they're telling me. I never want to assume that they're going to try to deceive me. That was never really my thought process really going there. So I was trusting what they were saying. When they went in and wasn't whiter, he didn't tell me about the whole 21-day thing. I mentioned this in the video. I kind of wanted to elaborate on that a little bit more. Again, I had to trust him with that. But like I mentioned the slanted tooth. The tooth was just slightly slanted. One thing about me though is that if some of you haven't been able to tell, I am a bit particular. When I know I like something or want something a certain way, that's how I want it. And if I'm going to get something done, if I'm paying you and I say, you know, hey, I want it like this, if you say you can do it like this, then do it like that. If there's gonna be a mistake, to just fix it. I'm okay with that, just fix it. But don't like kind of manipulate me and then lie just to try to get your way out of the mistake, because that's just going to piss me off, which is kind of what was happening there. I was very frustrated that it went on slanted. What the dentist was telling me, it was slanted because the way that my gums were sitting. The gums weren't resting around these veneers yet because they had just went in. He said your gums have to settle. Once your gums settle, that tooth would then kind of shift into place. And that made sense to me. I was like, oh, okay. What if it doesn't happen? Give it 21 days. He went back to the whole 21-day thing. And I'm like, okay, but what if that doesn't happen? He was like, trust me, everything will be fine. It's also not really that noticeable. And I'm like, but I notice it. I'm pretty detail oriented. If you look at my content, I'm very detail oriented with my content. I'm very detail oriented in my life. That's just kind of how I am. I'm the kind of person that if I put something down, I'm going to put it down a certain way. I'm going to position it a certain way. So if somebody comes and moves it, I'm gonna notice. It wasn't like I was set out to achieve absolute perfection with my teeth. If that was the case, I would have knocked them all out and then got like, you know, some crazy Hollywood white looking, like I didn't want that. So I still want them to have a natural look. That's why early on in the video, I said the tooth kind of stuck all the way up, but I didn't care about that. I'm not looking for perfection. I at least wanted those teeth, the forefront at least, to have a nice aesthetic to them, be even, not to be anything slanted. To make a long story short, they convinced me that things were eventually going to fix itself. About 3 or 4 people in that clinic were looking at the teeth, and they're like, it looks great. These are some of the best veneers that we've ever done, which I call cap on that. Like that was straight up BS. I never want to assume that I know everything about a particular person or a type of person, or at least a culture for that matter. So I can't put the country of Turkey or Turkish people in this boat, because that would be extremely unfair for me to do. But what I would say about the people in this clinic though, they are very manipulative. They will try to convince you to believe what they want you to believe, which is manipulation. They're good at it. They're extremely good at it. They tell me that if a month goes by and I'm not happy, I can come back and they will fix it for free. Of course, I don't want to have to do this, but I'm like, if all else fails, this might be a backup solution. If it doesn't work, then they have to fix it. The other problem I encountered, at least with this situation, because again, everything else was great except for the color not being what I wanted and also the slanted tooth. The other issue I had was because I used to wear braces and because I had that gap naturally and natively in my teeth, my bone structure naturally is designed to kind of force open a gap. So I have a metal bar behind my 2 front teeth and I wear clear plastic retainers, which was given to me after I got my braces off. So because I was changing the aesthetic and shape of the top row, I had to get new retainers at the top. That was something that I thought about doing in Turkey, but they wanted a crazy amount of money for the retainers. And they explained to me, I guess they had to import the materials and yada, yada, yada. The plan was when I got back home to immediately go to my orthodontist and then get new retainers. I even had that scheduled before I even went to Turkey because that was important. But because I had this wait 21 days thing, I couldn't get the retainers. So I waited at least a week and then I called my orthodontist and I was like, okay, here's the deal. I went to Turkey, I got a hair transplant, but I also got veneers done and they did the bonding that was there before. So they knew the entire situation. They were actually kind of surprised that it took me that long to even get the veneers. So I explained to them that I was told that the tooth would naturally shift. And the ladies on the phone like, and I was like, okay, your response makes me feel like that was kind of bullshit. And she was like, I can say I've never heard of that before. They duped me. They straight up duped me. This tooth for the past 6 months, it hasn't shifted. It's been still tilted. So it dawned on me like the tooth was never going to shift anyway because it wasn't really the position of the tooth. A veneer is pretty much glued down to the tooth that's underneath it. The tooth underneath it wasn't going to move. The problem with the veneer is that the way it was placed, maybe when he set it, his thumb accidentally slipped or whatever the case may be, and it ended up being slightly tilted. That's essentially what happened. A month later, I'm thinking to myself, I was like, I probably got to go back and get this fixed. So I reached out to the clinic, and at this point I was talking to a guy who was assisting me the whole time. His name is Saldar, if you guys have seen the experience video. I reached out to him, and I'll put the messages on the screen. And I basically reached out to him and I was like, hey, it's Rio. I got the veneers. They need to be fixed. The slant never got fixed. It never fixed itself and whatnot. He asked me to send pictures. I sent the pictures. He said he can't see it. So I put a circle around it. He came back. He was like, I showed the picture to a lot of people in the clinic. Nobody notices a problem. And I was like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew you were going to try to BS your way out of this. I basically told him off like, well, you guys said you would fix it. It's not to my liking. I'm not happy with it. You said you would fix it. He says, well, if you want us to fix it, we will fix it for you at no cost. And of course, they weren't going to pay for me to come back there. I was going to have to pay myself, which I was willing to do. My only hope was that they would at least accommodate the stay at a hotel, since they were the ones who messed up my veneers, and also provide transportation back and forth to the clinic to fix the veneers. I was only intending to go to Turkey for maybe 2-3 days. And I was gonna do this because, as some of you would know, I ended up going to Europe for almost a month, really about 3 weeks. I was in Central Europe, and it wouldn't have really costed me that much to hop on a plane and go to Turkey. And then, when I was done, go back to where I was going. They wanted me to come there for, I think they said 2 weeks. And again, the messages, I put them on the screen. He said at minimum I had to be there for 2 weeks. That was a no-go for me. Like, I literally had a whole bunch of other stuff planned. I was only hoping for like 2 to 3 days, like I mentioned. And he said, well, there's no way that we can do it in a time to get it the way you want it to be. And I'm thinking to myself, like, we already have my molds and all these things. In my mind, I thought they saved those things, and maybe they don't. So maybe it would take a little bit longer. But it's 4 veneers. Why would you need 2 weeks to do, or a week, even a week? Why would you need a week to do 4 veneers? It wasn't like you were doing a complete set for top and bottom. Anyway, that's just my mindset behind it. I told him I wasn't gonna stay that long. He said, well, you can come for as long as you want, but we can't guarantee that we're going to be able to get it the way you want to in a matter of a few days. And I was like, okay, whatever. But what about providing some level of accommodation, transportation, hotel? He said, if you come, you will be required to get your own stay and your own transportation. That's a deal breaker for me. How do you mess up my teeth and then tell me we're not going to accommodate you anymore? I don't know. And some of you are going to say, well, be happy with what you're getting. They're doing it for free, but they're the ones who messed it up. If I were to stay 6 to 7 days as they recommended without any accommodations for a hotel, I would have paid at least $400 to $500 for a hotel. My flight would have cost about $500, and then there's a cost of transportation and food. We're looking at an easy $1,400 to $1,500 expense, which is just pointless. If they would have tried to get it done in 3 to 4 days and covered at least 2 days in the hotel, I would have paid the rest. Heck, I would have covered my own hotel if they would have did it in 4 days and provided transportation. Getting your own transportation in a foreign country for an entire week, it's extremely tough to do. I'm pretty sure they knew that, which is why they didn't provide any transportation. And a part of me feels like they were never going to fix it for me anyway. Because naturally I have the bone structure to kind of force my teeth open, I ended up getting like a little small slit between the teeth, which wasn't there before when I first got them done. And that's just naturally my bone structure of my mouth. So unfortunately, because I wasn't able to get retainers, I ended up getting a slight gap between the tooth, which some of you may say that's not that big of a deal, but again, it was a big enough deal to me. That's why I wore braces for like 3 years. I had everything in plan to avoid this, and that the mistakes that they made caused me to have these issues. The color isn't that big of a problem now since it's been some time, and the teeth that I did have whitened have since kind of discolored a little bit, but that was still something that I wasn't happy about. To be honest, the color was more like a secondary problem. The slanted tooth was the primary problem once I realized that. Had the slanted tooth not been there, I wouldn't have really cared as much about the discoloration of the veneers, if that makes sense. At the end of the day, the veneers are better than with the bonding that I had around when I got my braces off. It's better than that. So I'm in a better situation than I was there, but I still didn't get what I wanted out of it. For those of you that are wondering, the cost, $400 per veneer. So I got 4 veneers, which was $1,600, and I also got my teeth whitened, which was $200. So I paid $1,800 for the veneers, which wasn't a bad price for porcelain veneers. If you guys know the price of porcelain veneers, those, depending on where you go, can easily be $2,000 plus per tooth. At the end of the day, they're better than what they were, but I'm going to redo them I just don't know when. Maybe it might be sometime in 2022. Maybe it won't. I don't know. When I redo them, of course, I'll let you guys know. Hopefully they go according to plan. That's what happened with the veneers. When it comes to all the things that they told me and were telling me, the dentist was a nice guy. And I would like to think that in his mind, he believed a lot of the things that he was telling me. Again, I'm not a dentist. I don't work in that field. That's not my profession. I'm not a medical professional for that matter. So maybe the things he was saying were true. Maybe there is a 21-day rule in dentistry. Maybe he did think the tooth would shift itself. Maybe he believed those things. I don't know. Or maybe he just sold me a bill of goods to get me out of the clinic. I really don't know what it is. It is what it is. It's a learning experience. It's a lesson learned. Again, they are better than what they were. So at least there's that. I'm going to redo them. So that's that. In life, things happen and all you got to do is just move on. My hair transplant is doing well. As you can see, we're 6 months in. It's supposed to take about 12 to 15 months to see the full results, but things are looking great. Ultimately, the job that they did with the hair transplant, it's going well. The veneer quality is amazing. They look like natural teeth. So those are all positive things. That's the veneer story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, hit the like button. The channel is mainly about fashion and style. So if you like fashion, like style, feel free to subscribe for more content. But that does it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace.